You guys have been asking how in the world I use up all these herbs I'm growing in my garden. I put loads of herbs in my garden, mostly for organic pest control. But listen, that pest control is so good you can actually eat it. But I get tons of questions. Nicole, how are you using all these herbs that you're growing in your garden, especially sage? Because let's be honest, there aren't that many recipes that call for sage. But if you know one, please put it in the comments so you know we can all cook with it. But today I want to show you this project that I have personally been loving and been doing all fall long so that I can enjoy sage all year long, not just in my kitchen, but like all around my house. So grab some twine, some pruners, and let's get busy. We're gonna make something that costs a ton at all these boutique fancy stores, but we're gonna make it for free. So there's two ways to cut sage. One is what we call soft cuttings, and these are soft cuttings. See how the stems bend like that? That's a soft cutting, but a hard or a woody cutting, see down here where this stem is super woody, it almost looks like a tree stem, right? So that's a woody cutting. We don't want those for these beautiful bundles, this project that we're doing. We are just going to cut what we call soft cuttings. So I'm cutting all the pieces that can bend easily because we're going to be doing a project that requires these to bend. So I am near the end of the season. You can be cutting to make these all year long. If you're cutting earlier in the year, you want to cut right above a leaf node so that these leaves just keep on growing and you don't, you don't kill your sage plant. But if it's toward the end of the year, you could really be kind of haphazard in the way that you cut these because they're pretty much done. So as soon as you hit frost, now if you're watching and you're in a warm place, then don't do that because you can have sage all winter long, which I'm so jealous. But if you're in a place that does get frost, then your sage is going to die back. But no need to fear, she will come back very strong next year, I promise. So this is enough for our first project. And you can see how there's still a lot of leaves left on this sage plant. But I've got enough here to do my first little project. So all you need is a little handful. And oh my goodness, you're going to feel so good just cutting this before you even start the project. So let's get to it. All right, so this is a great example. We've got a bend in the stem. I can still use it. I'm going to clear off these lower leaves. Can totally make some recipes with these leaves. And then I'm going to just cut off this base where it bends so that I have a nice straight stem. So now what I like to do, now there are so many ways to make these bundles. I have made a few. And this is the way I like to do it. So you can make it my way or you can make it someone else's way, but I like my way. So I'm just going to trim up these stems so that I kind of have a nice ending. And then I'm going to check and see if my two bundles are about even, and they are. And so the way I like to do this, I've made it where you just bundle all the sage this way. But what I like instead is to fold it so that one side has the stem and one side has the leaves like this, almost like you would make a bow or something like that. And I like doing it like this, and I'll show you how it turns out, which I like so much better. Otherwise, you end up with kind of like it's like thin on one end and real thick on the other, and I just don't love the way that looks. So this is how we're doing it. So I have mostly the stems kind of all together here in the middle. And then what you do is you bend these over, but I don't do that at first. At first, I'm just going to take my twine and just do a first little tie to make sure that I have this, all secure, and then I can start pulling the leaves in. Now, Sydney on the Gardenery team, she's gotten real into her sage bundles lately. And she tells me to remind you that you can put all kinds of things at the core of this sage bundle. So I just am making mine 100% sage, but you could put all kinds of fun things in the middle, like dried rosemary or thyme. Any aromatic herb can dry, you could work and put in the middle, and it'll add to the full fragrance experience. All right, so now you're gonna have some leaves that are longer, some leaves that are shorter. And I'm just going to fold these over like so. And then I'm going to take these from the other side and do the same thing. Now these stems are kind of getting in my way of folding it. So I'm going to cut these off so that the leaves are pretty, they're so soft at this stage, and I don't want them to break. So you see how I'm doing this? It's a little bit of a, you know, like a zhuzh to it. Is that what they call it? A little zhuzh. All right, so sage has so many benefits aromatherapy wise. I don't know if you've ever just walked by a sage plant or touched it, but it literally calms you down. Like the smells, they've proven scientifically to calm you down. In fact, I've taken to drinking sage tea every night before I go to sleep. Last night, my 14-year-old literally asked me for some. She's like, Mom, what are you drinking? I'm like, sage tea from the garden. And she's like, can you make me some? And so I did. And so we were, you know, having our little tea moment before bed. Now, as you're tying these up, it doesn't really matter if it's not gorgeous and if it's not like all aesthetic yet, or if they're like popping out like this, because we're going to take care of that at the end. So once you kind of start to get a little bit of a form to it, then you're going to go back around, and each time you tie, you're just kind of trapping more leaves inside. This is kind of like a project you do at summer camp, you know? So aromatherapy, one of the reasons, and what you do is you create these sage bundles that dry. So all this sage is going to slowly dehydrate inside this bundle, and then you can do this really cool thing and you can light it on fire. But seriously, it won't light on fire, it'll just smoke. And when it smokes, it puts off this incredible aroma that will make all of the bad people in your life leave. Just kidding. I mean, they might leave, but it will at least get rid of their bad energy. So personally, I like to light these every single morning around 6 a.m. when my kids come down for breakfast. Just kidding. They're great people. So, but no, people claim that it really does help get rid of bad energy, bad juju, any of the bad stuff. This can help get rid of it. I think for me, honestly, it just calms me down. It just makes me feel like all is going to be okay in the world, and I shouldn't be stressed even though I have 5 Zoom calls over the next 30 minutes, you know? So the first time I made these, I made it with a really thick twine. And like I told you, Sydney on our team is very into this, and she quickly corrected me that my way was not the right way. And so, so I ordered some thinner twine. So if you're making these with thick twine, don't do that. Mostly because it's going to you'll end up smelling the twine burning instead of the sage. And I don't know about you, but twine burning doesn't help me feel good. So that's it. So I just kind of wrapped this little lady up, and I'm going to take my twine and tie up a knot, and then that's it. So you'd want to place this in a cool, dry area. I'm going to show you a couple finishing steps in a second, but you want to place this in a cool, dry area. And you don't want it to have much sun. So we really don't want sunlight or things like that to hit this, because it will like bleach the leaves, and it'll remove some of the aroma. So once you've done this, then I just take my little pruners, and I'm just going to prune away all of the leaves that are kind of popping out of the roll like this. And that's it. So you can see how I took just a few cuttings from one sage plant, and I turned it into this amazing little sage bundle. Now these cost like $10, $15, $20 at all the like crystal hippie stores. And if you go to like a fancy boutique, they're like 50 bucks. So we can make all these for free from our garden. So if you've got tons of sage, then look no more for recipes that you don't think you'll probably eat. Instead, just make yourself a ton of these little bundles. Also, by the way, this is a perfect idea for holiday or birthday gifts. Like, how fun is it to gift something like this and put a little tag on it that says, "From my garden to scare all the bad people away from your life." You know, something like that. People would just absolutely love you for that. So I've got a ton of sage left. I'm going to be making so many of these. I'm going to give them to all my 2 friends for Christmas, and I know they're going to love me for it. So do not let your herbs go to waste this season. Make yourself some cute little sage bundles. Dry these up, burn them, smoke them, and feel awesome all winter long. If you love this video, if you love making the most of your garden, if you want to start a garden, we've got incredible resources for you right below this video, including how to grow a year-round supply of herbs, especially sage. So check that out, and also check out this video right here that's all about doing lots of other projects with herbs, especially with basil. So check this one out next, and I'll be sure that you use all the herbs you're growing in your garden this season.